Two men, one mission: blow things up and make billions doing it. These two create the most cinematic booms in Hollywood. They fly off buildings and even planes, but who does it best? The man so tough he was named after a rock? Or the man who blows things up to save his family?
You don't turn your back on family.
Let's follow the money. Every explosion and every car that goes boom will be turned into cold, hard cash. And we'll be dividing the results with the global box office to see who all the movie makers think is better. First, quick rules. What counts as an explosion? It has to be cinematic, visible flames, debris, and slow motion. Now, here's how this insane little game will work. We will use what I like to call profit per explosion, or PPE. Step 1. Take a movie's worldwide box office minus production cost. Step 2. We divide that number by the total number of explosions in the movie. And boom! That gives us the average profit for every explosion. To keep things fair, we picked each actor's 7 biggest, loudest, and most explosive movies, and we're counting explosion wins. Alright, now that you understand the rules, let the war begin. The Rock. Sometimes Dwayne Johnson forgets gravity exists, and sometimes gravity forgets him too. He does the most insane things on screen and remembers to smile while doing it, like jumping from a high-rise building while the building explodes behind him. His films run the block. They are family-friendly movies, warlike disasters, and a few muscle flexes. He's done them all. But we don't care about any of that. We care for the explosions. The Scorpion King, Desert Siege Explosions. The Scorpion King was shot more than 20 years ago in 2002, yet it has some epic blasts, about 6 of them. All thanks to our resident smoldering king. None of those blasts made the film $1 billion, but at least they serve as early evidence that The Rock can handle a good boom. But all that spiel aside, how much did this film make? What is the worldwide gross? 20 million? 50 million? Nope. $180 million. $180 million for a film with 6 explosions is not too bad. But that puts its profit per explosion at $30 million. Hold that number in mind as we swim right into the 2013 movie Pain and Gain. In this highly entertaining movie, The Rock dabbled in smaller explosions. Some of them were more comedic than epic. These microbooms will count in the generous count. They were small, but they still moved box office numbers. I mean, gaining $87 million for a film with only 3 explosions is more than a little impressive. And that puts Dwayne's profit per explosion, or PPE, at $29 million. But what about fan favorite Hercules? Whether for the mythic battlefields or scenes of The Rock looking all tough and dangerous, the 2014 movie raked a killing in the box office. $244 million is enough to buy 2 countries. One guess how many estimated explosions The Rock delivered? 10. Do the math. How many PPE do we have for Hercules? Drop that calculator and just move that decimal point. $24.4 million. But Hercules pales in comparison to the magic San Andreas created. The 2015 movie had a lot of city-wide explosion set pieces. We sat at the edge of our seats and watched in shock as whole cities crashed and exploded. Movies like this make this game even more interesting. They make major catastrophes worth a lot, and in this one, we had 25 of them. So, how much did they make from 25 explosions? Well, the movie grossed at a whopping $474 million. That puts Wayne's PPE at $18.9 million. Now for The Rock's mega hit, Jumanji.
Welcome to Jumanji!
Jumanji exploded into a near billion-dollar hit after dropping in 2017. And this should be surprising since there were fewer framed explosions. In fact, the explosions were more funny than serious.
Couldn't resist it. Hey, it's all good.
But it still generated a huge global reach. There were CGI blasts and a lot of jungle chaos. It was such a good movie that it made a whopping $962 million. Divide that huge number by the estimated 8 explosions in the movie, and we have $120.25 million. $120.25 million for only 8 explosions is impressive. But Dwayne stood out even more in the 2018 movie Skyscraper. The explosions were an inferno. This film carried big single set pieces that forced the box office into vomiting a massive $304 million. With an estimated 15 explosions, The Rock won a PPE of $20.3 million. But he gained a lot more from Rampage. With a few helicopter crashes and massive city destruction, the producers were determined to push The Rock to his limits. It must have worked because he piled in a massive $428 million. With only an estimated number of 12 explosions, The Rock's PPE was jammed up to $35.7 million. Obviously, Johnson's explosions tend to be few but big, and attached to films that sell to global audiences in ways that reward each kaboom. Now, add his PPE together in your head while we change the screen to the balding king who never lets his family down, the Diesel. Vin Diesel doesn't run from explosions. He walks away in slow motion while preaching about loyalty. Half his budget goes to building cities and the other half to blowing it up again. He built a fast and loud empire with zooming cars, blasting guns, unbelievable storylines, and a family he has been determined to die for more than 20 years. But it's not only about fast cars. The franchise loves explosions too, and every film it releases only adds on more outrageous detonations. The producers must be making a killing because they keep coming back for more. Obviously, volume is Vin Diesel's superpower. In fact, for this game, all we might have to do is focus on the Fast and Furious franchise. The first Fast and Furious, released in 2001, had small but effective explosions and even a truck explosion. Viewers loved the car stunts but jumped at the well-played explosions, all 8 of them. Fans all over the world loved it so much it made a good $207 million. Divide that by 8 and we have $25.9 million in PPE for Vin already. A good number, but nothing compared to what the 2009 Fast and Furious made. With an estimated 10 explosions and a box office hit of $359 million, Vin Diesel gained a PPE of $35.9 million. The movie had cars exploding in such fun and entertaining ways. The happy producers grabbed their moneymaker again in 2011 for Fast 5. They went full throttle in this film. They had train and armored car crashes. They even increased the number of explosions to 14. And it worked. This time, the movie grossed $626 million, and Vin Diesel gained a PPE of $44.7 million. If anyone thought Vin Diesel wouldn't be able to replicate that success, they were very, very wrong. After Fast and Furious 6 grossed $789 million, the producers were ready to give their all for the next. With 18 explosions, Vin got a PPE of $43.8 million for Fast and Furious 6. So in 2017, he and the producers poured in all their magic sauce for the fate of the Furious. Vin Diesel delivered an estimated 20 explosions. There were big bangs and even some submarine sequences, and it was worth it. The film gathered $1.236 billion. Oh, Vin has now gained a PPE of $61.8 million. In Fast X, we realized that the franchise had invented even more manners of blowing things up. They blew up bridges and cars. In fact, it was a final mayhem. There were an estimated 30 explosions in this one film. It grossed $714 million, and Vin gained an estimated $23.8 million in PPE. Aside from the Fast and Furious franchise, Diesel's other action movies are still very explosive. For example, Vin brought in his magic for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and we enjoyed multiple spaceship explosions. In fact, we enjoyed it so much that the film grossed $845 million. $845 million with an estimated 10 explosions meant $84.5 million in PPE. But the bottom line is, Diesel's strategy is volume. He produces many explosions across many films, and that has produced steady returns. Well, we fed those films into the spreadsheet and churned out two numbers. Alright, let's roll to the figures. For Dwayne Johnson, we had $35.7 million, $20.3 million, $120.25 million, $18.9 million, $24.4 million, $29 million, $30 million. Crunching the numbers, and The Rock lands at a grand total of $278.55 million. $278 million is already big enough for a movie budget of its own. Well, for Vin Diesel, we have $23.8 million, $61.8 million, $84.5 million, $43.8 million, $44.7 million, $35.9 million, $25.9 million. And running the numbers for Vin Diesel, we land at a whopping total of $320.4 million. If explosions were NFTs, both would be millionaires. But by our calculations, Vin Diesel would be officially $41.85 million more explosive. His volume and faithful franchise has kept him quite profitable. But an actor who delivers fewer but higher volume explosions is basically an investor's dream, and that's the Rock Zone. Studios love that because it means limited but efficient chaos. It means less budget and less need for cleanup, while the profit still goes kaboom. Meanwhile, Vin Diesel is the opposite strategy. He gives us pure volume, cars flying, tanks flipping, bridges exploding every 5 minutes. It's expensive, it's insane, but it works. Because Fast and Furious prints money like Marvel. And remember, The Rock has also popped into the Fast and Furious universe too. So our conservative count winner is Vin Diesel, and our generous count winner is Dwayne Johnson. Fair, right? Well, we did the math, but do you accept the results? Your mission now is vote in the poll below. Also, tell us, do you think Vin produces more economical explosions than Dwayne? Drop your comments down below.